What a lovely crisp morning, and welcome to Coniston Cold and the BYD Dolphin, an electric car that starts at around 26,000. I'm Ben Quirk, welcome to Planet Auto. BYD are probably the biggest car manufacturer that you've never heard of. They've got fingers in literally every pie. Things like battery technology, home charging solutions, and pretty much everything in between. 5.4 million EVs sold. That's mind-blowing numbers. And I do think this is the jewel in their crown. And they've got proper tech. Things like blade technology, platforms that encompass the battery, agile driving dynamics, powertrains that are fun, and safety that, yeah, it's pretty damn impressive. This ticks a heck of a lot of boxes, and I think the best move that these guys have made is establishing a dealer network. Places like Stratstone, they've got about 27 dealers that sell the Dolphin now. By 2024 there'll be 100 dealers, and that's half the battle, especially when you're emerging in a new country. Now you've got one powertrain, pull 0 to 60 in around 7 seconds. There's also two battery sizes, 45 kilowatt hour or the 60 kilowatt hour.
And if you want one today, best bet's to go and check out byd.com/UK or pop into your nearest dealer. With this being a brand new car, you can't currently get all battery sizes or trims. Now you can choose from comfort at £30,195 or design at £31,695. And they've all got the extended battery too, meaning 260 miles range or thereabouts.
Our models in the design trim, and you get things like two-tone, you get bigger wheels, you also get multi-link rear suspension, LEDs all round, and that's on all trims. Technology, well, blade batteries, it's what you call ultra safe. It's also stronger compared to a conventional battery. You can drive a 50-ton truck over it without it rupturing, smoking, bursting into flames or any of that.
It also utilises E-Platform 3.0, which is specifically made for electric vehicles. On top of that, it has the 8-in-1 electric powertrain, which integrates 8 key components, including onboard charger, drive motor, and the transmission. And it's this kind of system that makes it more efficient, uses less space, and in turn makes it lighter. And these are the kind of things that you want in an electric car. It means you get the range that you're expecting.
Wow, it's getting a bit chilly. Speaking of chilly, it has a heat pump, and that's on all models too. So even in winter, you're still going to get, I think it's about, with their thermal dynamics, 20% more range than say a conventional EV. Now BYD are massive in China. They make vehicles like this, but they also have a luxury range as well. So think of say Hyundai and Genesis, and the likelihood is in the future we'll start seeing those as well. Currently, we've got what they call the ocean segment. So it means that all their vehicles have ocean aesthetics. Now the reason it's called Dolphin is because of the styling at the front, and it's to do with the flow of a dolphin breaching the water. It's quite clever that. You'll see other features that are very ocean themed. I don't want to be flippant, but the door handles look a bit flipper-like or fin-like. It's stylish, it's agile, and it's fun. And if you've seen the new advert, you can see all the colour combinations that you can get. It's going to be perfect for a small family too, especially with that blade technology, because when you look in the cabin, it's a bit like a TARDIS. It uses about 50% less space. I really do love the flow of the front of the vehicle. The fact that the lights are tucked in here, and you've got the daytime running lights that illuminate underneath with the stripes, and BYD, the dynamic styling. It's just tastefully put together, and I think it looks rather smart, especially in two-tone. It's got so many funky elements. For example, the way that the bonnet wraps around here. It just shapes the face. Safety, yeah, up to the hill. Lane keep assist, AEB, mitigation systems, sensors, cameras, LED front lights, high beam assist, parking sensors, and finished off neatly with a 360 camera. And the quality of the screen's very good. Just look at the shape of the mirror. So cool. Charging flap here, and it will charge on the DC up to 88 kilowatt hour. And on a rapid charger, you're looking at 30 to 80% in around 29 minutes. Well, it's certainly got a presence, especially with the plastic cladding around the arches. and the colour-coded wheels. Look at the flow of this A-pillar, and I do like to see a quarter light. Power folding door mirrors, and you can see that you've got blind spot detection. The radar system's extremely good. Dependent on trim, depends on the wheels that you get, tyres, etc. Now, we've currently got the Linglong tyres, but as a BYD partner, Hankook have developed a tyre especially for the Dolphin, so that's what you'll be seeing when they come out of the dealers. The thing about BYD is they started off building Nokia batteries back in, well, when I were a wee lad. And they thought, wait a minute, all these EVs and PHEVs etc. are becoming all the range. Why not make a vehicle round our battery tech? Now that's forward thinking. The side profile somehow looks like it's moving even when it's parked, and that's due to design lines like this and the shape of the bottom side skirts. Also the shaping of the door handles, which are flush, which obviously helps with efficiency, because one thing you want out of an electric car is for it to do the range that it says it will do. And of what we've seen at BYD, they're pretty much spot on. Keyless entry and doors that cover the sills on a small family car. Now this is hard, but it's finished rather nicely. It's padded areas here and a mix of materials. And here we have the Dolphin fin. Electric windows front and back, and you can operate your power folding door mirrors. Not a bad door pocket either. Climbing in, absolutely no problem at 6'3". I do have to duck my head a little bit, but that goes with the segment. Whew. Flat bottom steering wheel. Talk about sporty. The one thing that is missing is a grab handle. Instead, you've got a sunglasses case. Micro cluster, big infotainment screen, and you operate the drivetrain from the centre. Just look at the shaping round here. I mean, all this, it looks, I suppose, a bit like waves. And I'm sat on vegan leather too, and I've got a fully electric seat. Nice to see a coin holder, proper buttons and rotaries. Ooh, solid. Raised centre console with storage areas under here, cup holders and more rotaries. Yes, an electronic handbrake. It's a new electric car, it's bound to have one. Auto hold. You can disable your traction control. I love these retro vents. Also the way it curves around here. The accents, the materials, everything's, well, that bit different. I mean, I thought Atto was quite, well, a crazy concept, but it really worked. This is, it's rather unique. The mix of finishes, also the contours of the interior. Touches like this, the way this juts out. And this is where you put it into drive. Switch gears. I mean, a lot of it is plastic, but it's got a good feel to it. Volume for your infotainment. You can even get my hat in the storage area here, and a wireless charging pad. Seats. Certainly funky. They remind me of, I think, Porsche tombstones. Finished rather nicely, especially for a car in this segment. That's the thing. You get generous equipment levels. It's trimmed very nicely. For a price that, if you're going to go for something like this from another brand, it could quite easily be 5 or 10 grand more. Comfortable buckety seats, and we've got Isofix points on the front, and even the passenger side is electric. Like MG, BYD are coming in strong. And at my height, even with a panoramic, I've got around 2 inches of headroom. Decent legroom, lots of adjustment in the steering wheel with reach and rake. And I'm a real fan of the micro cluster. Even though this is a mini cluster, it still displays a wealth of information. It's a great driving position, and you feel connected to the car. I'm a real fan of this really long armrest too. You can see there's like symbols of aquatic and ocean pretty much everywhere you look. And build quality, yeah, it's pretty good. Slight bit of flex, but nothing to write home about. Mega storage down here. Find 12 volts and USB-Cs. Now to the infotainment system. Starts up very quickly, nice and responsive, and even though it's touchscreen, the buttons do what you think they'll do. There's no lag, and everything's nice and easy to use. CarPlay, Android Auto, lots of settings, look at your safety, navigation, smart charging, etc. And I do like that. As it's an electric car, you get over-the-air updates. It's what you call mega technologically advanced. The thing is, it's not a complicated car to drive. You just climb in and go, oh, okay. And it just makes it very straightforward. Regen, so you don't have any paddles,
but you do have standard or high. Also adaptive cruise control, not something you'd expect on this segment of car.
Nice big windscreen. And B-pillars aren't too big. I can quite easily do my lifesaver looks. Let's take a look in the back. I'm a real fan of the white piping and the perforation on the seats. One thing I'd like to see is adjustable front seat belts. But to be honest, that's scraping the bottom of the barrel. This is a work of art. If you are in a collision, you can smash the glass with this little device. Now that is thinking outside the box. The colour certainly sets it off, especially with the flush door handles and this dynamic styling on the rear quarter. Discs all round, and we've got 17-inch wheels. And as I mentioned, just look at the colour-coded elements. Now the Dolphin has a rather pleasing silhouette. Also, if you've noticed, it's got a wheel very close to the front and they're very close to the rear too, which means it handles like it's on rails. It's such a fun car on a back road. And the colours have got real depth to them. Ours, and if you look left, you'll see another two-tone in a more, oh, I think I call that blue. Let's take a look in the back. These guys work with people like Sony and Nvidia. Believe it or not, half the iPads in the world are made by BYD, and that also goes for smartphones. Now that's nice to see. The back door cards are finished the same as the front. Decent door pocket, electric window, and a nice padded area. I'm gonna like this. Climbing in, I have to duck my head a little bit, but at 6'3", that's to be expected. Now, if I sit low down, I'm pretty good. If I get in and sit upright, because that's interesting. This ridge, if I lean forward, my hair does brush against it. But if I'm sat, say like this, it is raised where my head is. It's just strange to have that there. But considering its segment, it's a lot roomier than you expect. But that's the benefits of, say, blade technology. The battery takes up 50% less than a standard conventional LPF battery. And yes, this is lithium phosphate, so it's cobalt free. I would have preferred to be able to get my feet under the seat, but I've got decent legroom. Grab handle, and that's above every door, bar the driver's. I suppose that's the only challenge for, say, somebody like Annabelle. To the steering wheel and the proximity of the door opening, etc. It's nice and easy to climb into. Now it's quite roomy. Nice to see the fin door handle once again. Also, the way it juts out means it's easy to grab. Comfortable position. Pull down armrest too. That's another thing I wouldn't expect to see in this segment of car. That's it, they've just upped everything. Comfortable, supportive, not particularly buckety, but finished very nicely. And the vegan leather once again. Isofix points, and everything just feels, well, plush. Premium materials throughout. Storage pot here and USB-Cs. And if black's not your bag, baby, you can get different coloured trims. Now I love a black roof, it makes a car feel really sporty. And the fact that you've got the panoramic and you can open this blind, it allows a heck of a lot of lighting. I mean, just look at the size of it. Now that really transforms the interior. It's lovely and light and airy. Map reading lights, airbags, and I think that's your lot. Let's take a look at the back. Lovely sporty rear end. Big chunky rear spoiler, Diddy wiper, and build your dreams. Now don't be surprised in the future if this disappears and it just is replaced with BYD. That's the kind of thing that happens in the UK market. It's a big thing in China, but we don't go for it. The shaping of the rear, very sporty. The black element and the recessed number plate. And here's, well, the light bar. Now we first saw this at fully charged, and this reminded me, I think, of Celtic symbolism. just something completely different. I mean, the likelihood is it will have some kind of relation to ocean aesthetics. To be honest, it escapes me. I love this curvature on the rear windshield. And more convenience and safety, including parking sensors, reversing camera, and cross-traffic alert. Now that is a chunky tyre. Just look at the width of it. Let's take a look in the boot. Yeah, the boot's not the biggest. Virtually no boot lip. Bear in mind we do have the rubber trimming, and also the floor is at the highest level. If you drop it, that really increases the boot space. Charging cables down here. This is a good idea. Perfect for large dogs, wet cats, and Wellington bobbles. Quite easily get your week's shopping there. And to be honest, you could go on a small family holiday. Nice and easy to remove the parcel shelf. Little string hooks. Okay. And this just lifts out. Extremely lightweight. Drop in the seats, just pull up these tabs and push forward. And with the floor at this height, it's a flat loading area. And virtually no gap. And this opens up the car exponentially. To be honest, I get my EMTB in here without the front wheel. I might have to take the other wheel off. But the fact I can get it in there, that's really good. Let's take a look under the bonnet. To open the bonnet, I think it's like the BMW i cars, you have to pull the release twice. No front, but very easy to see where you top up fluids. So dependent on trim, depends on what the brake horsepower is and the output. Time for a drive. Welcome behind the wheel of the BYD Dolphin. This shift is different. Speeding. Okay. That, oh, it claims that this is 5 miles an hour. Wow. Okay, let's take it on the open road. So we've got 204 horsepower, 0 to 60 in around 7 seconds. Oop, bit of spinach. It's very pliant, agile, dynamic. Good weight to the steering. Great feedback. I can hear a bit of tyre noise. And also a little bit of wind coming off the mirrors. But what you have to remember is the segment for this vehicle. Normally, that's the kind of things you get. It's only when you start moving up that it says, actually, you need to have more refinement here. We're in eco mode. The suspension's very pliable, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a comfortable ride.
But it still holds the road in a, I suppose, a rather dynamic way. I think we'll have to play around with some bends and see how it fares. Let's use some driving modes. So we're currently in eco and straight to sport. Can certainly move.
Yeah, it's nippy, isn't it?
Yeah. As we expect with all electric vehicles, hills just aren't a challenge. It stays composed, even throwing around these bends. A little bit of body roll, but nothing to write home about. I could have a lot of fun in this on a back road. Agile, dynamic, chuckable round bends. Love it.
You do love your chuckability, don't you?
I do. And the thing is, if you take this into the city, it'll be super efficient. But no, I'd be quite happy to have one of these. Just zip around the back lanes. Instant power. Wow. I like that. On the cluster, you can see when it says things like 9 kilowatt, minus 9 kilowatt. It still staggers me that a car that starts at around 26,000 offers a decent range. I can't quite remember what it is for the standard range, but the extended range at around 30,000 with 260 miles. That's
It's phenomenal, isn't
yeah,
it, really?
it's extremely good value. Yeah, I suppose the only thing is a bit of noise in the cabin, isn't it?
Yes, but it's not overwhelming. It's not really invasive at all.
No.
It's a windy day.
Yeah, there's that to add, isn't there? Yeah, great steering, great suspension, great power. All round, a great car. Thing
Nice
is,
alliteration there.
well, exactly.
Yeah.
Don't take our word for it. Drive one. That was a pleasant experience. Fun, agile, big enough for the family, which you don't expect. Also, just innovative, full of interesting finishes, touches, things like the fin. Safety technology that, well, ticks every box. A range of around 260 miles. A price tag that you just, well, is quite phenomenal. And, well, something completely different. BYD are certainly making their mark. And I can see them doing it well into the future.